So one of the things I've noticed is that whenever I come to the edge of it, I kind of draw back.
Yeah.
I kind of get a glimpse for a second or two,
Yeah.
I draw back.
Yeah.
I have like 4-hour honeymoon periods and then I draw back.
Yeah.
So, and I have narrowed it down. There are many, but today I want to talk about one, which is, oh, if I see things as they are and I'll be totally okay and I'll live spontaneously and then I'll continue being the bad person I am.
Mm.
I won't get better.
Mm.
So it's like, where will my drive to become a better person, to become a bodhisattva come?
Mm.
So, yeah, like, should I continue suffering so that I can become a bodhisattva? Should I become a bodhisattva first and then wake up? I don't know.
You are already a bodhisattva. You just don't know.
Can I ask, where do you get, this is getting, it's tricky because we're getting into the realm of beliefs as well. And so,
And they are also blockers.
yeah,
Beliefs are also, I notice, are blockers.
yeah, as you know, I mean, we both have strong Buddhist backgrounds, but there is a point where, the Buddha said Buddhism is a raft, or the Dharma is a raft. I mean, there's no such thing as Buddhism really at the time. So the Dharma is a raft, and once you cross the other stream, you let it go. And so there is something to be said for using the teachings as a tool, but not getting too hung up on the concepts and the belief element, because that itself can be a big hindrance to moving through it. But the first thing that jumps out is that you said that you're a bad person now, and you're looking to become a better person by doing this. So are you comfortable just kind of giving us a little insight into what it is that you consider to be so bad and in need of change and improvement?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have been working for the past 10 years with this. So the biggest I find is, like, I have a problem with arrogance and vanity, pride. So I'm prone to arrogance and vanity. And I worked on it, and it has really softened and loosened up. And, it's almost now translucent, where it was opaque once. Uh, so there's that. There's then, the finer things of, do I really rejoice in somebody's good fortune? Because I have thoughts of envy. Then I have thoughts of, jealousy. I have lots of attachments. So all of these things, and I'm like, if I'm happy, or if I'm like, satisfied, then maybe I won't do anything to improve and clean up.
I have a feeling you're gonna have a lot. Can I just say one thing quick? I'm sorry. So I know there's so much coming out. Can I just say one quick thing first?
Yeah,
Okay.
go on.
So I feel like you and a lot of other people tend to put the cart before the horse. There's the idea that I have to improve all of these moral things in order to evolve on the spiritual path. And so
Yeah.
if you're, if you don't become celibate, if you don't give up, cheesecake, if you don't, all of these things, you'll never become an enlightened bodhisattva or a Buddha. But in fact, it's as you see through these things, as you see through self, as you see through cravings and aversion, and the fact that they don't even exist, that they're just illusions, all of these things just fall away on their own. It's not that you have to cultivate this sense of morality and forcing yourself to be a good person in order to become enlightened. It's the other way around. Seeing through the illusions allows those impurities or such things to also just lighten up, because all of those things that you're talking about are very self-driven, self-reflective judgments, or that it's all about my vanity, my arrogance, my everything points back to a me. If there's no me there anymore, who is going to be arrogant? What is the point of arrogance? What is the point of vanity if there's no self? Did that just hit something? Breathe.
Yeah. Yes. Something like energetic.
Mm.
Mm.
And that is what I wanted to point at, that everything in life always has two sides, like the yin yang. There's always two sides of something. We're never only arrogant, we're also the opposite. And very, very often we pretend to be arrogant, so we are not livingly aware of the profound feeling of low self-worth, or I have no value at all. So I have a foundational belief that I am not okay the way that I am. So now I'm putting so much focus on my vanity, so I can prove to myself and everyone else that I really, really have a lot of worth. When what happens that Todd just talked about, that all that will fall away, the self will fall away. But if it falls away before you have seen through all that foundational feeling of shame that you have, if that falls away before you have seen through it, then you will never, that part of you will never ever be seen. And that's why it can't fall away until you have acknowledged it and accepted it and understood it. You're not vain, you're full of shame. You're not arrogant, you feel shameful. So we do different things to divert. And the way we divert is usually the opposite, because the starting point is about shame. There's a foundational feeling of shame that I don't want to feel. So in order not to feel that, I'm going to hide that I'm shameful, which means you still have the starting point. But your entire expression is in arrogance, and it's in, vanity. That's only a diversion. It's only a diversion. And there's some part of you that needs to love that shame, that needs to look into that shame and hold that shame, caress it and love it and be with it. And it's okay, and have memories about it, and allow yourself to be the loving mother and the protective father that wasn't there when the shame arose first time. And then you allow it to be there. And when it's no longer important for you, it will vanish, just like Julie experienced. It will vanish. And then you will be where Todd is talking about, that it will just fall away. And there's no one to be arrogant. It's not even possible anymore. But you are arrogant and vain as long as you're trying to hide something. Did that make sense?
Yeah. Completely.
So what Todd talked about, when you can watch the recording afterwards, you can see that it's like you're being like, you take a deep breath in and you fall backwards. That is the deeper trauma of you that will never ever be acknowledged if you hear what he's really saying. So that needs to be acknowledged first and loved, utterly loved.
And rather than judging yourself for still being too arrogant, or being, having too many attachments, or whatever the things are, just recognize that, as Pernille said, when you address these other things, they are going to fall away on their own. It's similarly, the idea of renunciation is often misunderstood. It's not that you forcefully renounce all of these things in the world, it's that they happen naturally with the cultivation of seeing through all of the illusions that we usually live our life through. As those things drop, all the other things start to drop along with it, and that's what we call renunciation. But it's really a natural process that's spontaneous. It's not by force.
And as long as we have a self intact, when we are renouncing, we're doing it forcefully.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is not the renunciation that is talked about in the Dharma. The
Oh,
renunciation that is talked about in the Dharma is the renunciation that is happening all by itself, without any effort. It just happens. The moment you see through self, the renunciation happens all by itself, because it's not important anymore. The greed, anger, and delusion is not there anymore. There's no one to be greedy, or no one to be angry, or no one to be delusional. So those fall away all by themselves. You don't need to do anything. It happens all by, it takes care of itself. So there's no doing in it. There's no effort included.
And that undercuts your fear that if you don't do this thing and improve this, that you're never going to improve as a person. It's because it's not about that. These things, all those things, as Pernille just said, fall away on their own. So it's not a process of forced, willful self-development that you as a person are going to improve, because there's so much self that's involved in that concept of being a bad person now who's going to become a better person in the future. That's pure selfing. That's purely based on the idea that there is a consistent narrative self here who is going to continue into the future, who is going to gradually purify and become better and better until I'm a golden sparkling Buddha who everybody is going to appreciate. And that's just self. It's just selfing. It's just pure illusion that's not happening in this moment. And that's as we've said, seeing things from the opposite side. It's just a natural falling away that happens, as opposed to a forceful chipping away.
oh, that's a relief.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the first things that I feel like I'm coming back online.
Yeah.
I think what hit me was the arrogance, the vanity was so solid, like it was a thing. And when you were speaking, I realized, where is it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I couldn't see it.
Exactly.
It was smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a thought.
It's just a thought.
It's a pattern of behaviors that you're used to seeing and labeling. Oh, that's arrogance. Oh, there's sensation in the body. There's some words that come out. Oh, that's arrogance. And then it's just a label. And it's never the same twice. And yet we conveniently, just like we label every tree that we see a tree, no two trees are the same. No two things that we call arrogance are the same. It's all just a constant flow of changing experience. But if there are enough little similarities, the brain goes, oh, I've seen that before. That's arrogance. And then the other layer of it goes, oh, I'm a terrible person for feeling that, for experiencing that, for being that. And so it's just these layers of conceptualization to make things easier to grasp and categorize, and then the self that comes in on top of it and takes ownership of it and claims it and says, oh, that's me. And then the judgmental self that comes in on top of that and says, oh, and I'm terrible for having that, being like that, and for that happening. It's just layer of thought upon layer of thought upon layer of thought. And as you said, it's all just smoke and mirrors. None of it's there.
Fuck, I mean, it's seeming so silly now. What a waste. Oh my God, 50 fucking years. Wow, this is like a magic trick. That was like,
You saw through the illusion.
I didn't even buy the ticket for it.
Exactly. How good does that feel?
Oh, ho, 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 woo.
Well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Well
you.
done.
Whoa. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Love it so much.
So beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So good.
Hug.
Thank you.
Myself. Thank you. Really, thank you so much.
This has been so nice. This has been really wonderful.
Ooh. Okay, Todd and Pernille, thank you for that nuclear warfare.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you for playing along and,
Yeah.
and really going with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this.
Oh yeah, this is amazing. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
You look so much lighter.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I mean, like, the first thing I was like, something got lifted off my belly. And I'm like, oh, suddenly something opened and it's like there was a cage I was in and I'm no longer in it. And suddenly there's breeze and
Good. So good.